What don't we have in Africa that's pushing us to go abroad to look for opportunities? The opportunities that we are looking for in life, we have way more than enough of it in the continent of Africa.
An African lifestyle.
Welcome to Pan-African Lifestyle, where we rep the motherland. We post content regularly and invite you to subscribe and share if you're a pal. That's a Pan-African Lifestyler.
So what are the main things that, we experience as being Black in America? I mean, there isn't a main thing. I mean, it's just being Black in America comes with a whole lot. So we're constantly reminded of that. And as Black folks, that's not something we need to talk about. We know that, right? But being in South Africa, to not feel Black and just human, it is a beautiful thing. If we're paying any attention to what's happening in our own backyards, it ain't safe where we at. I mean, I'm just being honest. The fallacy of safety isn't even a thing now that we can ignore. We've just come to accept it. The average metropolitan city in the US of the A is not safe. And speaking from experience of having spent extensive time in South Africa, these experiences and these parallels just don't exist. So, I'm not saying that crime doesn't happen in South Africa. And after living in Tanzania for a full year, which is possibly one of the safest countries in the world, there are some stark differences. But if I was comparing the two, South Africa is a lot more safe than the average US city. Just feeling human in South Africa. And honey, the men of South Africa are exquisite. In fact, the men of the African continent are exquisite, if I'm just being honest. And I'll say that from a confidence and self-love and awareness perspective, my natural beauty was not only acceptable, but it was enough. And I'm here to tell you, ladies, it is enough. In a society where natural beauty is not only accepted, but celebrated, it's something different. It hits very different. And yeah, I'm here for it. Being in America and not feeling human because of the color of your skin, it does something to your psyche. It does something to your mental health, your mental wellness, and the opportunity to step into one's full self as yourself and be open to love and be willing to give and receive. Let me tell you, when you're just good with you, it hits different, ladies. So social life, dating, yes, yes, yes. With that in mind, not having to feel Black and being able to feel human eliminates these conversations around having to work harder because of the color of your skin, or having to do more because of the color of your skin, or having these conversations with our children that no matter what they do, they will never be equal to them. And I know that that's something, and likely a conversation that our parents had with us. But do we really want to have that conversation with our children? And because we have to have that conversation with our children, what do we think that that's doing to them? It's chipping some of that self-worth and self-love right off of the block. We are the majority in South Africa. And so that alone makes it all worth it for the kids. And so to grow up in a place and to exist in a place where you're constantly being called minor, you're constantly being called under, you're constantly being called of something else, it does something to you. And it don't really feel good at the core if we're being honest. So to be in the majority amongst a people where their culture is celebrated, it's on display, it's on the billboards, it's on television. There's not just one or two tokens. There's not the savior existing so that the story can be a thing or be published on air. The culture of South Africa exists and is celebrated with or without the acceptance of non-Blacks. It's relevant, it's present in the food, in the music, in the fashion, the entertainment. That's all us. And that is one of the things that I absolutely love about South Africa. And I'm so excited and so ready to be back on the continent with beautiful, influential, successful, loving, welcoming, family-centered Africans. Because that's where it's at for me.
I believe it will benefit me and it will change my life status in the long run. I want us to get on board and move forward together to build and create a generation of young entrepreneurs to inspire the next generation. I think this is a really great move as long as you have faith in it. We have to take our own personal matter in our own hands rather than relying on the government or waiting for one regime to come and like magically change everything for us. That's just not how it works. Sometimes if you are waiting for somebody to actually determine what your future will look like, I bet you will probably be waiting your entire life. And I don't want that to be the case for particularly my generation. I want my generation to win. I want my generation to actually be able to tell stories that will inspire more people and actually encourage a lot more people out there to become entrepreneurs. I've seen a lot of young Africans from different African countries doing great things. You know, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Tanzania, and to name a few. They're really staying on the top of their game. Why can't Congolese do that? I mean, we're all from the same continent, the greatest continent of Africa. What don't we have in Africa that's pushing us to go abroad to look for opportunities? The opportunities that we are looking for in life, we have way more than enough of it in the continent of Africa. I personally believe that Congo needs more entrepreneurs, especially coming from the diaspora. It took me years of living in America to actually come to a realization that, there are people here in America that are struggling. There are people in America that live paycheck to paycheck. They're waiting for the next paycheck to be able to pay their bills. When I realized that, and I was like, you know what? I have to do something so that tomorrow I don't blame this on anybody. The American dream that everybody brag about America, I don't know what it looks like to me. To me, it does not exist at all. People that's from the outside, they see those opportunities. For them, it's like, as soon as I get to America, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. As us who are moving from Africa, because you live in a country, you were born in and grew up there, you don't see the potentials that that country has. Until you get out of that country, you live a whole different reality in a different country to actually realize how much of a potential you left behind. And what I didn't realize is just like the more money you make, the more problem you have. You will want to live in a much bigger home. You want to upgrade your car because you feel like, okay, I'm making a lot more than I was making back then. Why can't I treat myself with something nicer? I had to keep getting up every morning, going to work and waiting for that paycheck either every 2 weeks or whatever. Sometimes I have to work 2 jobs regardless. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know what? waking up every morning to go put in the work for somebody else and to wait for their paycheck, it's never gonna get you where you wanna be in life. So that's where my ambitions kept growing bigger. I'm like, okay, I want something for myself. I want to invest in my land. I want to do something. I know some of you may have money already, may already be considering to go back to invest in a country. It's not late. It's not too late. Take as much time as you have to. Nobody's pressuring you. But once you come to that conclusion and you make that decision that you really want to go and start investing, do not hesitate.
Thanks for tuning in to Pan-African Lifestyle. Share the name of the African country you'd like to visit in the comments section. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Pan-African Lifestyle.
Pan-African lifestyle.